So I had the pleasure bestowed upon me to sit down and watch this new 2023 low-budget movie entitled Phil Herman's Doomsday Stories, or just Doomsday Stories if you will. It's a movie that is an anthology-style storytelling project, and we're going to talk about it now. I'm going to give you my thoughts on this movie. So let's get into it. Oh yes, welcome back to the channel everyone, and welcome to my review for Doomsday Stories. Now, I had a message, I was reached out to, I was sent a screener for this and asked whether I'd review it, give an honest review of the movie. And, you know, I will. Anything that was sent to me in this kind of an ilk, I'll sit down, I will watch, and I will tell you my thoughts on it. No different here. So, this film here, it runs for just a little over 2 hours. It's an anthology movie in that it is made up of different stories set within this sort of post-apocalyptic world where this virus has overtaken the planet. There's food shortages, mass deaths, all this sort of thing. The film has very much been inspired by the events of COVID-19, a couple of years that we went through. That much is definite in its making. The film itself is bookended by stories of this individual named Zorak, played by Phil Herman himself, and he comes across this diary, so to speak, that contains several stories in it. Of this world, of the goings on, of the start of the virus, of people's attempts to stop the virus, stories that have gone on within this world, and it covers all different kinds of genre of storytelling within these individual stories within the film. Like I said, they are sort of bookended and broken up with this character reading them, and along the way we come to find out a little bit about his life as well, and his life living in this world. So each section of this movie is directed by a different individual. First of all, we are given a story called Broken Promise, directed by Derek Brash, that follows the story of a character named Rich, played by Justin Bauer, and he's on the road. He's living his life in this desolated world. He'd made a promise to his wife who has passed away. He's got this daughter Grace that he's trying to get to. He's living life with his dog, and we see what it's like to live in this world, in this society, running into sort of elements of individuals that somewhat nefarious and this sort of a thing. And I mean, I won't go any more into the in-depth of the story of this thing, but you know, tragedy bestows and this sort of a thing within the context of this story. Then we're given another story called Bomb Threats, which is directed by James Panetta. It stars Debbie D as Katrina and Jim Owald as Alvin. And this story here, the story structure changes somewhat, and this is very much, it reminds me a lot of something like maybe Hostel, so sort of gore porn type of thing, where you've got this female and she's bombs have started dropping, stuff started occurring, she doesn't want to go to shelters, but she's met this individual a few days prior who's got his own bomb shelter, and she contacts him to come and stay at his bomb shelter, to stay there until things clear up, but things go awry for her with him. And it's kind of almost a sexploitation kind of a story to it as well. If you are fans of things like Hostel or Saw, this might work for you. And then we're given a story called Forever Man, directed by Marcello Fabani. And this here is more of a sci-fi element. This introduces us to a part of the world where to get food, individuals are being made to sell body parts on the black market, essentially, and then their body parts are being replaced by cybernetic pieces, and and you got stories of super soldiers and this sort of a thing, and the main character, he's on this journey going through, you know, and as this kind of soldier, killing people and whatnot. Again, I won't go into too much depth within the story. And then lastly, and this is a big chunk of the film, we're given a story called 187 Times, directed by Joel D. Wynkoop, who also plays the main character in it as well, James Kirk. Now, this is not just James Kirk, just a character called James Kirk in the context of the story. His parents were big Star Trek fans, hence why he got this name. And he's got this time travel device, and again, he's attempting to go back in time and save his wife, who has perished in the past, and it keeps failing. He has to keep going back and this sort of a thing. Like I said, all these stories are superseded, connected. There's a connective tissue with the character of Zorak going through and bookending the film. Now, like any anthology movie, you're going to have stories that work for you, stories that don't work for you. You're going to have different filming styles. I mean, some of the stories are evident in that there ain't really many people there assisting in the filming, and it's all sort of done by one person, this sort of thing. But that's not to detract from this film. The film introduces us to a very interesting world, a concept that I could buy into, and would love to watch more stories set within this world. The stories here, you know, I mean, I didn't expect them to go the way they did, which is a good thing. I didn't expect the sort of diversity we had within the stories, the actors within. I had no idea that it was anthology based, and for the most part, a lot of the stories do you have a connection to, you get drawn into. Some of them do overstay their welcome by a little bit, and could do with a bit of trimming here and there, you know, trim some of the fat off, make them a bit more condensed. But for the most part, what this is a project that is clearly made by passionate people who love what they do, and that shines through in everything that they give you on the screen. Like I said, it's not big budget. You can't expect amazing special effects or anything like this. You know, the makeup is a bit shocky on some of the zombie creatures that you're introduced to in the film, but it's all done with an element of fun. And you know, I'm sure that, and that's me being really critical and horrible in a sense, because the budget doesn't matter. It's in the narrative, it's in the storytelling. I'm sure a big glossy production looks fantastic, but does the story grip? And here, like I said, we've got a world that's been made, a world of interest, a world of intrigue, a world in which loads of other stories could fall into it and be told, and that is itself is fantastic. And some of these characters in some of these stories could carry on into other things, telling more stories set within this post-apocalyptic viral world. And for that, the film is fantastic. It was a whole lot of fun. Very much enjoyed sitting through it. But like anything, like I said, you know, it's all subjective. Film is art. Art is subjective, and whether you like it or not is down to the individual. But the passion is there on the screen. You can get through the lack of effects. You can get through the acting that at times, you know, it isn't particularly great, obviously. There's some decent camera shots in different elements of the films, different filming usages. Drones were used in some parts of it, I can see that. For the most part, very enjoyable. What can I say? Anyway, that's it. So, your thoughts on this, if you have seen this, if you would watch it, give it time of day if you wouldn't, please let me know down below in the comments section. We can have a friendly discussion about this here film. And thank you for watching. Take care all, and I shall see you all on the next one. Goodbye.